Hello, how are you?
Hey Eric, how's it going?
Oh, I came. Oh, hold on a second. My speakers weren't on. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
Good.
I just checked registration.
Hmm.
I don't know how many registrations are available for each session, but it said 40 seats were available. Um, but I think it said like 30 or 35 were available yesterday, and we still had a pretty decent turnout. So it
Right.
remains
Yeah.
to be seen if anybody will join this one today, but I guess we'll find out.
All right, cool. Yeah, probably a lot of people who wanted to do the session probably came yesterday. So,
Yeah, it did seem that way, but you never know who might be a straggler. We didn't have any history yesterday, so maybe history could come today. I don't know.
yeah.
Um, I am in the middle of doing the scheduling right now,
Hmm.
so for sure you're going to have Denise, uh, Jason, and Chris.
Cool. All right.
Not sure yet. There's classes being canceled, but so far it didn't look like there was anything in Delano being canceled that could trigger extra assignments in the writing center, but we'll see.
Okay.
Because there was like it was like an evening class that was canceled.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, I haven't even looked at the enrollment or the classes and how many were full since the end of last semester. So,
Yeah,
uh,
enrollments. I heard enrollments down by something like 11,000
mm,
duplicated head count,
okay.
which is crazy.
Okay. Mm,
That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. I was looking at this schedule change form and it's all these cancellations. Jennifer said there's even potentially full timers that aren't going to make loads. So,
mm, okay.
but that tells me at least we shouldn't be short on faculty this semester.
Yeah, yeah.
We hope not. So, how was your break? Did you do anything?
No, no, I just relaxed. Did a lot of relaxing. I have two new cats. I don't know if I told you that, but yeah, they're a handful. So now I have a house full of six, which is too much.
Uh-oh, that's a lot
But
of
they were just it was impossible not to take them in.
cats.
So
I know. I have to ignore all the cats I see outside. I'm like, nope, one's enough.
well, these were two kittens that just kept on popping up on my front step every day, and I was just like, oh, these guys can't be left outside. So
Yeah, they adopted you, not the other way
yeah,
around, right?
right.
Hi, Leanna. Happy New Year.
Hey Kim, Happy New Year. Good to
Long,
see you.
good to see you too. Long time no talk to.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, how is everything? You still in the MLS department?
Yes, I'm still in the MLS.
Cool, cool. Well, if you ever want to come back to the writing center, all you have to do is shout me out and we can give you an assignment in the writing center too.
For sure, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for
Awesome.
the offer.
Absolutely.
How's everything going for you?
Everything's been good in the writing center, actually. We have a full team again, and that's nice, not being short-staffed. We've opened BC Southwest, and now we're going to Arvin next, and we're even in the prisons now. So we've got a lot of projects going on, so that always makes me feel good as the manager, you know. If we've got a lot
Yes, you're
going
getting
on,
more
then
and
we're
more
doing good.
busy, which is good, in a good
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Hi, Neil. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So it's 2:46. I think our official start time was 2:45. So let's just chill here together for a couple of minutes and see if anybody else joins. But if not, that's okay. I will drop something in the chat while I'm thinking about it. It's always easier when I'm not also talking. So Leanna, in the chat, you'll see I just dropped a PDF. It's all the workshops that we're going to talk about in the workshop today um, are listed on this document if you'd like to hold on to it. And I think I'll go ahead and get my screen share started, even if we're not going to start just yet. Whoops. Neil, are any of your kids sick right now?
Uh, the 7-year-old, she seems perpetually congested. Um, so that's just kind of always. I think we're doing okay at the moment. It's been a while since we've had something big go through. So on the other hand, since it's been a while, it's probably on the horizon.
Yeah, it's going around Jeff's house right now, and then I woke up yesterday morning feeling sick, but better this week than next week. So
Yeah.
I'd imagine if it hasn't overcome your household, it will soon.
Yeah. Well, I got flu shots and COVID shots for myself, and got a COVID shot for one daughter, but not the flu shot, and the other one hasn't gotten them because they didn't have the pediatric ones when I went. So we're all kind of mismatched, and I'm debating, do I still want to bring them in? I do, but
Yeah, mismatched immune systems, huh?
yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the clock and it is 2:48, so why don't we go ahead and get the ball rolling? So it's going to be us few but proud today, and that's perfectly fine. So I was supposed to have a co-presenter, Jeff Egan, sorry, who is an English professor, and he's our Writing Center instructional lead as well. Unfortunately, like I said, he is out sick. We wish him well, and we will soldier on without him. So this is what we're planning to talk about today. I'm going to give a workshop overview of like how the workshops actually end up being created and by who. I'm going to show you the menu of workshops that are available to your students, and I've chunked them sort of in order of the stages of the writing process. I'll talk to you about some examples of how some faculty are incorporating these workshops into their teaching already. I will assure you that our workshops can be integrated into your classes with little to no grading on your part. I'll give you a little tour of what the students would see when they are in our Canvas, and how your students would get started with the workshops in the Writing Center. And at the end, I will open up the floor and you can ask questions. You can suggest new workshop topics, talk about ways that you think these workshops could fit into what you're planning to teach this semester. And of course, if you have any specific questions according to the slides, go ahead and just unmute and shout out your questions. So we are going to start with the collaboration that it takes to make our workshops happen. So really our workshops are designed by two parties, our writing specialist twos, and then overseen ultimately by, whoops, sorry about that, overseen ultimately by our instructional lead, Jeff Egan. So what Jeff is there to do is to support the writing specialists as they create these workshops. They talk about things like scaffolding and how to chunk these concepts, knowledge tests and practice quizzes, the overall design of what the workshop will look like, knowing that it's ultimately going to be built in Canvas. And I do want to say early on that in this context of the Writing Center workshops and ACDVB 86NC, you're going to hear me mention those words, knowledge testing, quizzes, things like that. And I do not mean that in the instructional sense, because we are not giving grades in the Writing Center. But we have to see if everybody's on the right track. And so, as you know, we'll have chances for them to demonstrate or practice a skill along the way. So that's what I mean when you hear me use those words for this workshop. So it starts with our writing specialist twos. They are all degreed professional tutors, and the writing specialist twos all have really been with the Writing Center for, I'd say, at least 6 years at this point. So they are our most experienced tutors. And like many of the faculty did, or almost, I think all of the faculty did, when we all went online during the pandemic, we took those workshops on teaching online also so that we could figure out the best way to support students in that new environment. So what they do is they suggest topics according to what they're seeing with their embedded students or just in their one-on-one sessions for tutoring. Or I might come at them with a suggestion and assign one of them a new workshop to create. So what they'll do is they'll design that asynchronous workshop content along with any tools that they're going to have the students utilize or that they're going to demonstrate themselves along the way, what those sort of assessments will be to engage the student in the learning. And then, of course, thinking about each video that will guide a student along the way as they work through the workshop. So once they have this sort of like packet of information together and an outline, everything like that, they'll work directly with Professor Egan. And then really it's up to him to make sure that we're producing content that is of the utmost instructional quality. And that it is meeting the needs of what we think is going on in the classroom. So moving along, these are the first of the workshops that we have available. The students don't have to take them in any order, but when I say the first, I mean the first step of the writing process. So actually what I realized in doing this is that the most workshops we have are on pre-writing, but I think that's wonderful because I always like to tell students, you know, if you can get off the launch pad in a meaningful way, it makes the rest of the writing process go a little easier. So as you can see, we've got a slew of different workshops available, from rhetorical précis and critical reading strategies, because no one becomes a strong writer if they are not first a strong reader. But we also have topics like inventing or like brainstorming essentially for an essay, narrowing your focus for an essay before you start researching. I think this one's really valuable because it can save students a lot of time. And then, of course, we have organization, outlining, and argumentative thesis. I'll talk about thesis on another page as well. But I also want to point out that avoiding plagiarism is on this menu as well. And while that's not officially part of the pre-writing process, I do think it's a good time for students to really frame what it is that they're about to perform as they start to do this writing. It sort of puts the context around it, I think, in a hopefully positive way, so that it doesn't seem punitive later if the word plagiarism has to come up. And that avoiding plagiarism workshop does have a submodule within it about AI writing specifically. So I also think that is a great workshop to assign at the beginning of the semester, maybe in the first couple of weeks of instruction, when it's quite likely the students do not have the textbook yet. I think that is a great way to get them started on the semester, because outside of any individual writing assignment, especially if you're teaching something writing intensive like English or EMLS, that's really an important way to frame likely the entire class. Excuse me. So next, moving along to drafting tools, we have these other workshops. So argumentative thesis, I do see now, I put it on the last slide and this slide. I apologize about that. I think I meant to have it on this slide only. So to distinguish those two, we have argumentative thesis and thesis. The thesis workshop really is an introduction to just what a thesis statement is, because sometimes students struggle with that concept. And the way that we sort of present it in the Writing Center is we chunk it into 3 different elements, and then allow a student to sort of build each of those elements according to what they're discussing and what their opinion is. Now, the argumentative thesis goes a little bit further, and that one is specifically for argumentative essay writing or any sort of argumentative thesis, which could also be potentially in like a Combi 1 class. Writing an introduction paragraph, that's one of our new workshops. I'm pretty excited about that one. But overall, I would say the 2 most commonly utilized workshops in the Writing Center are C method and synthesis essays. So C method is about how to incorporate quotes into your sentences while avoiding the drop quote, as in using a quote in place of your own sentence. Whereas the synthesis essay is about not just an individual quote, but really how to blend other writers and other sources, especially when there's more than one, into your essay writing overall. I would say that those are 2 very common, the most commonly assigned workshops that we offer, especially across the curriculum. We see those being used in a lot of classes where maybe the instructor assigns 1 paper throughout the semester, but it is not, they don't have the time to really teach the students how to write the paper that they want them to write. And then paraphrasing, I believe, is also a new one. And then the primary source essays workshop, that is really specific to our history students because the primary source essay is it's sort of a different kind of analysis than they might be performing in like English 1A or even in a psychology class or something like that. So since we don't have any history in the room, we can just like skip that one for now. Okay, moving along, revising, editing, and publishing. These are all kind of chunked together. So this is really all the like sort of like proofreading stuff and accountability stuff, right? So we have our grammar jam, which I think is great because it also goes over parts of speech to help students be able to diagram their own sentences because that's how they can start to frame grammar. And I believe that workshop is the one that also identifies fragments and run-ons through the use of diagramming sentences. And then we have a punctuation review because as we know, students struggle with their commas a lot and many other forms of punctuation. So that's a really great refresher as well. And then of course we support MLA, APA, and CMS styles in our Canvas content. However, in person, we will support other styles like ASA. Oh, am I frozen? There we go. Okay, so we do have 2 additional workshops that aren't actually related to composition instruction. So we have our email etiquette workshop, which is again another workshop I think is great, that is great to assign to your students in the first couple of weeks of the semester before they have their textbooks. If I had a penny for every time I had to tell a student in an email, first of all, my name is not Hey, I would be a rich woman and retired. So I feel like this could be the workshop that can save you a lot of headaches just with your communications with students at a later date. And then we do resume workshops as well. Right now, the only asynchronous one we have is this one for engineering majors. That was one that I developed during the pandemic. But we are always welcome to talk to our faculty partners who might be representative of a specific cohort or a specific major if you feel like those students are in need of resume support for that specific major. So shout at me if that's something you'd be interested in, and we can talk about that at a later date. So you can see these workshops for yourselves. It isn't just a concept that you'll hear about through your students. Unlike your instructional Canvas, we kind of have control over putting people into our Canvas, and we can assign them different roles like student, TA with grades, other teacher. And what's great about that is that we do not assign grades in the Writing Center. So to insert you into this as a TA, to insert you into our Canvas as a TA, is not violating any kind of like FERPA regulation. So I can put you in as TA, no grades, and that way you can just go in and see all of the workshops for yourselves and skim through them. But if I give you TA with grades, that would give you the ability to go in and actually search your own students to see what it is that they are doing, if they're doing the things that you ask them to do. But there's also not technically a need to do that, and I'll talk about this in a little bit. Each workshop produces a certificate of completion at the very end of the workshop that the student can download. So they will be able to give you proof of attendance without you going in and having to monitor their progress. If you do request that access, though, I will tell you now, and I'll remind you when I give you that access to turn off all of your notifications for ACDBB 86NC, or else you will get a lot of notifications saying that there are things pending grades, because I think our record so far was, I think we gave out 750 workshop completion certificates, not this past fall 24, but I think that was fall 23. And in fall 24, I think we gave out about 550. And so each module has each individual section that needs to be graded according to which quiz or whatever it is that the student does along the way. And so it is a lot of grading stuff it will ping you with if you don't turn off those notifications. So just know you've been warned, but if I add you to the Canvas, I'll let you know again. So all you have to do is send me an email and tell me you'd like to have access to that Canvas. And as soon as it's published for the semester, I'll put you in and you're off and running. So the great thing about these workshops, and the reason it's so great that we can work with Professor Egan on this, is that we can think about how can we form these supports for students without making extra work for our faculty who might assign them. So one of the ways we've done that is try to figure out how can we have these workshops available without the faculty needing to grade anything. So like I said, we have those workshop certificates of completion. Every student that completes a workshop, at the end of the workshop, that's the very last page, is them downloading that certificate. So if they have that certificate, you know that they completed the workshop, because that's the only way they might be able to get a hold of that. So all you would have to do is set up another page in your Canvas for that assignment. I think it's good to link them to the instructions on how to get started with our workshops. I'll be showing that on a separate screen next. So give the instructions on how to get started, and just make sure that you have a placeholder in there so that they can upload their files for the certificate of completion. And all you have to do is mark them as complete or incomplete, and you're done. So with that, let me show you about how to get started. I was going to talk to you about faculty examples first, but I think I want to show you that part instead. So can you see my screen still? Where it says orientation enrollment? Neil, can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good, thanks. I'm having a little timing delay, and so it's taking a little bit to like refresh my screen. Thank you. Okay, so this is not published yet, but this will be what the students see first once we put them into the Canvas. They'll be able to see all of this information about enrollment into our course and what the steps are, because they will need to enroll in the Writing Center services before they can complete these workshops. But they only have to do that once per semester. It'll ask them to submit that proof of enrollment, and then they're off and running for all workshops for that semester. And the way that we confirm that is there's a little quiz, just yes, I'm enrolled, no, I'm not enrolled. And then once they get through that, they can move on to the actual start of any of the workshops. And if they were in our Canvas page, this is what our home page looks like. And we've tried to we let students know when we're going to be ending the workshops, and we generally try to give ourselves a week to 10 days before the end of the semester to finalize our grades for those workshops and give students all the hours of credit they're supposed to get. But we give them ample notice ahead of that, of when they're going to be ending. So also, this is basically the main part of the home page, and you'll see workshops are like right in the middle, right there. So all they have to do is click on workshops, and then the list is here, and it's sort of by themes. So the booster bites, I think I might have actually skipped over that slide, but these booster bites are really great. This is a new thing that we're kind of just starting to dive into in the Writing Center. They're almost like virtual or rather asynchronous drop-ins. So they go over a single smaller topic, and it's about 7 minutes of front loading and about 7 minutes of activity afterwards. So it's about a 15-minute kind of concept skill and drill, if you will. So right now we have content on booster bites for topic sentences, making a writing plan, and annotation strategies. But I am hopeful that over the summer we'll be developing like a bunch more booster bites. So stay tuned for that, and you're always welcome to suggest some of these topics to us. So you can see other workshops offered are all here. These are the ones that were new as of fall 24. Paraphrasing, rhetorical précis, argumentative thesis. But here's all of these different chunks, just the same way that they were in my PowerPoint. So you've got organization stuff. These ones are actual drafting. And then there's the grammar, citation, etc. So going back to my slides. So just a few examples of how the faculty are incorporating these across the curriculum. Really, the first person that tried it was Ronnie Rest from the art department when he was with Bakersfield College. And he was telling me one day that he was really frustrated with what he was seeing in the students' essay writing. And he usually gave them 2 weeks to work on that assignment to try to hopefully get better essays out of them. He assigned them 3 weeks instead, but the quality of the writing wasn't changing. And so I suggested, maybe it would be more fruitful to change what they're doing in that amount of time instead of just giving them more time to do it, so that there's like some structure there. So he incorporated several of our workshops. I believe he did the thesis workshop and then the C method workshop. So like how to introduce quotes. Actually, I think he did 3. I think he might have also done the invention workshop. But each week, one of the workshops was due. The student uploaded that certificate of completion, but he went one step further. Not only did they have to do the workshop, they had to apply it to his essay by utilizing whatever tool was presented in the workshop, because our workshops always have tools. That tool had to be like filled out or utilized and then also uploaded for Professor West, just to help them sort of keep accountable to what they should be doing to get the assignment done in each step. But I don't think he actually went through and gave them feedback on each individual tool that they turned in. So after he did that for the first 3 weeks of the assignment, they were off and drafting. Everyone had a rough draft. He gave them an additional week. So now it became a 4-week assignment module. And the 4th week of that was that they had a one-on-one visit with the Writing Center to go over the draft that they had produced using our workshops along the way. And what Professor West told me after he did this for a couple of semesters is that he did see a significant change in the quality of the writing that the students were producing. He saw less plagiarism as well. So overall, he was pretty happy on his end on what it did in terms of what he had to do to grade students. So in the communication department, they actually assigned several of our workshops that have to do really with pre-writing more, because obviously drafting is a little different when you're doing it for a speech, but a lot of the beginning stages of the process are shared with what we would do in English or EMLS. So brainstorming, coming up with a thesis, they tend to assign the APA workshop a lot as well. So that kind of varies the way they're doing that, but I would say the most common one would be organization and outlining, because generally students have to turn in a formal outline in Combi 1. English, we're seeing them integrated a lot more, especially in the English B1ALs and especially with English B1A online. This is a lot of supplemental content so that students can get a bit more interaction with the college at large and obviously take more advantage of academic support, which can look very different for online only classes. And then indeed, academic integrity to some degree can take advantage of these workshops as well. They can assign them to students. Marlene and I are members of the academic integrity team here at BC. So we suggest these workshops to students too, according to what we saw happening with like the plagiarism in their work when we meet with them. Okay, so I already did this part. We already toggled over to the Canvas. I'm doing things in a different order today. So really, next, I just want to do some discussion. We don't have to talk about these things if there's other stuff you want to discuss. But really, I just was wondering, are there any workshops or booster bites you would like to see the Writing Center team create for your classes? How do you envision incorporating one or more of these workshops into your class or a specific module or a specific assignment? And will you assign the workshops, or how will you assign the workshops? Are you planning on requiring these as homework? Will this be an extra credit opportunity or have some kind of similar incentive to do them? Or is it just suggested as a supplement? Definitely, we see that look different across the board. Not everybody does that the same in their classes. So you're welcome, if you're already assigning these workshops, to tell us how you're assigning them or ask any questions, how to get started, whatever. I'll stop talking and give the floor to somebody else.
Gloria asked to show the booster bites again.
Oh, okay. Let me go back. Thanks, Gloria.
And I'll do a screenshot so that you can move on.
And they are also in the menu that in fact, let me do that before I share this again. I think before you logged in, I shared our workshop menu. I'll drop that in the chat as a PDF right now, and it has all available workshops and booster bites. Voila, there you go, my dear. Okay, and now I'll go back though and share that screen so you don't have to open something separate. Oh, come on, there we go. Okay, these were the booster bites. So making a writing plan, annotation strategies, and topic sentences. So if there are other topics you'd like to suggest for us that could make a good booster bite, just remember that the booster bites are smaller than our traditional workshops. We give students 90 minutes of service credit for completing a workshop, but on average, it probably takes them an hour or a little more. It just depends on how that student works through the material and at what pace. But the nice thing about our workshops also is they are not timed in any way. So if the student can only work on it for 30 minutes and they have to come back and finish it later, even if it's a different day, they're not penalized in any way. They don't have to start over again.
One thing my students have trouble with, even though I'm very detailed in the class pack about how to distinguish between scholarly journal articles and other periodicals. I explain the difference in the terms. I tell them about the icons and so on, and to check peer reviewed. But it seems to be a big problem. I have them do 6 research paper information sets before the research papers due, because they have to have a minimum of 6 scholarly research articles. But they'll be turning in newspaper articles, magazine articles, and so on. And maybe just obviously students do, and most of my 1A classes have been online, except for, last semester. But, we know that students do not always do the assigned readings. So maybe a 15-minute booster research just showing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so just helping them kind of contextualize the difference between
what's
when
the
your professor
difference?
says you have to do a scholarly source versus a
Yeah.
news article, what's the
And
difference?
what's the
between that?
difference between a journal and a magazine and a newspaper and just a website?
Okay, so like source context, would that
Yeah,
be fair? Source
yeah.
context, okay. Yeah, and we might title it something different so it makes a little more sense to them.
Yeah, so that students can clearly tell this is what they,
Yeah.
because I think both the word source and context would be difficult for some of
Yeah,
us.
exactly. So like understanding different types of sources might be a pretty
Yeah.
easy title, something like that. Yeah, I
Or
like that.
even identifying scholarly journal articles.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody, I let them use magazine articles and even some web articles, so on as supplementary sources. And I even encourage them, because my umbrella topic for 1A is extremism. And so I'll say, hey, there are a lot of NGOs, and I tell them what that means, like this Southern Poverty Law Center, the Anti-Defamation League, and so on. There are good sources, and there are sometimes really good magazine articles. So yeah, they can use supplements, but they need to have the 6 scholarly journal articles. So probably just identifying scholarly journals would be a good topic, at least from my point of view.
Yeah, and I agree with you in as much as I am often looking at a student's paper where I can clearly see your instructions said X amount of scholarly articles, and I'm looking at a lot of websites and news stuff and popular sources, YouTube videos.
One of my office assistants is
Oh, always have your office assistants available. I have this is to quiet my office assistant. I don't know if you can see, but
they
it's
get
a
that every
big box
morning.
of Temptations.
They love it. I get the large sizes. Yeah, this one is 18 years old.
Yeah, mine's 19, so yes. And he
Wow.
learned to scream at me when I'm on Zoom because he knows I'll throw treats at him. So he has me conditioned, not the other way around.
I have
Chris,
5 others, but
Chris, if you're still with us, I'm curious, are you assigning these workshops to your students already? I'm not sure if he's actively listening or not. That's
I
Yes,
got
I
up
am.
early
Sorry,
to make
I'm on
tea.
my phone, and I'm trying to. It's a lot
Oh.
different than doing it on my laptop.
Sorry, I didn't
Yes,
want to put you on blast.
No, it's okay. Actually, I attended yesterday's session, but I had to leave early, so that's why I took this one so I could catch the second half. I have not assigned these, but I would really like to, especially hearing how successful they've been, and the fact that they would kind of reiterate a lot of the information that I'm already providing students in class. And I could definitely see using it for either extra credit or as like a supplemental instruction. But yes, I'm very, very interested in starting that this coming semester.
Yeah, that sounds really great. And you have the added benefit of having Eric as an embedded tutor who's on this Zoom call with you. So if you're not sure maybe yet, like you want to do it, but you're not sure what week to assign it or which particular workshop would be best, depending on what you're lecturing on that week, definitely talk to Eric, and I'm sure he can make some suggestions.
Yes, I definitely will get with him starting next week. When will the Canvas page be up? Will it be open pretty immediately once the semester starts for students to access and instructors to access?
It should be up. I think I can safely promise by the end of the first week, but I'm hoping it'll actually be up by the end of this week. I just don't want to promise that because scheduling can get overloaded. The classes are created, but I just assigned the faculty today, and until the faculty are assigned to it, obviously they can't get the Canvas together. But generally, all Jeff does is import the old Canvas into the new Canvas, and we just kind of rinse and repeat each semester with it. The thing that's taking a little extra time this time is that we're going through that accessibility checker thing. You know what I'm talking about, that you all had to do as well. Yeah, yeah. And it was a lot with the Writing Center workshops and all of the tools and PowerPoints that are along the way. It's a lot of content. So we're kind of having to fix a few things along the way also. So we will ask for you to bear with us on that, but I think safely I can tell you by the end of next week.
Okay, yeah, no, I jumped right in with annotation, and when I saw that one, I was like, that's perfect. I can just let them kind of check that one out as a starter one. So awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Kim.
Awesome. So one thing you're going to hear about, since I have English in the room right now, one thing you're going to hear probably through either Jennifer and Pam or myself or both is that I'm really pushing for English to bring their classes in to enroll in the Writing Center. Our enrollment method is changing this semester. So it used to be, excuse me, used to be students would have to get a service from the Writing Center, and then we would enroll them after they'd received that service. Now we will be enrolling them ahead of their first service. So if their first service was a one-on-one appointment, that would happen at the time of that appointment. If not, though, if their first service is going to be one of the Canvas workshops, we have to get them into the Canvas ahead of time. So if you have in-person classes, we'd love to do where you bring them into our lab and do those registrations, or we can bring the laptop cart to you and we can do it in your classroom if you don't want to come over to us. Eric, I'll have to sidebar with you about that.
My face-to-face class or classes, I think one isn't going to make it, are Introduction to Literature this semester. But I think I would like to bring them over.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're still going to get tutoring from the Writing Center, and I hope many of them do, they should still, I strongly suggest they enroll as well. And you never know what they might want a refresher on.
And I think just having them walk over to the center and see it if they've never been there makes them a lot more comfortable.
Exactly. I completely agree. I'm still working on what the outreach method will be for the online only students to kind of do these enrollment campaigns and orientations, because the idea is that we will give them an orientation and then we will take them through the enrollment process, and then we can count that as their first service, and that's why we'll be able to enroll them right then and there, but then they'll be off and running with the Canvas after that as well.
Yeah, I have 3 online 1As.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. I have a meeting with Jennifer, actually. She was just texting me right now. So after I hang up this Zoom call, that's my next thing to talk to her about, is those logistics. So you'll be hearing more from me on that soon.
Hey, Kim, do they have to be physically there, or could they call in or email to register? Like, could I make that another component of like the week 1 requirements for them to kind of either go down personally or contact the Writing Center another way?
Yeah, so they can definitely register on their own. All they have to look for on banner is ACDV B86NC, and there's 1 CRN per campus, so they can register for it themselves. And in fact, I just happen to have, so I'll drop in the chat right now, our CRNs for the semester.
Perfect, thank you.
So main campus is 34551. BC Southwest is 345. What was it? 34549. And then Delano Center, last but certainly not least, 34550. There you go. And the course is ACDV B86 NC. You can remind them NC means no credit, nobody panic. They're not going to get a grade. There's no textbook. There's no time requirement. This is simply how we report their attendance when they utilize our services, because were legally required to report their attendance for service. And then
was
if they have
the,
any questions about enrollment, they can talk to me too.
So it was ACDV 8086?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, you'll know what it is, Chris, because I'm actually doing your assignment in the Writing Center today. So
Perfect,
it's the
perfect.
same course that pops up on your, yeah, so you'll know the CRN for it because it'll be one of your CRNs.
Oh, awesome. And
Yeah.
they have to enroll like they would enroll in regular class, or once I'm enrolled, they can access it through Canvas.
Sorry, I don't think I understood the question.
So for them to enroll in the ACDV, they would do that through like a traditional enrollment where they would enroll for like a regular class, right?
Yes, yes,
And that
exactly.
gets them in. Okay, okay.
Yeah, they just look that up on the banner. In fact, let's look it up together just to visualize. I'll go and do that. We've got time. So let me bring that up real quick. And we'll see if it's on the public schedule yet. It should be because it said that they were done creating them. Current students inside BC. Don't steal my identity, anybody. If you do, you have to do my work along with it, okay? So is it Banner 9 self-service? Is that where they're registering? Yeah, registration, look up classes. So they can go in right there just like they would for their other classes. And then add or drop the class. Don't tell them to drop it, please. But where they would, I don't know if it's going to let me see that screen. Oh, it does. Yeah. So same thing. They're just going to pick the term. And then they're going to put in one of those CRNs. Oh, I have hope. I mean, I don't know what this means. Bad debt write-off. What? 2013. Anyhow.
Busted.
I don't know what that means right now, but whatever. The point is all they do is add or drop a class from there.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, I'll be sending out further communication to especially the English department about that probably at the beginning of next week.
Oh, Kim,
Yes.
could you also send that to EMLS? Because I'm meeting with Susan tomorrow as well, and I'm going to tell her this too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I gotta send it to English, history, EMLS, and comm. Those are my top 4 to make sure that they all get that information for sure. It's just different department chairs, so I have to email all of them separately and say, hey, can you let your faculty know this? So with that, really, that's the end of the workshop. Did you guys have anything else you want to discuss, or should we wrap? All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. Chris, thanks for coming twice. You're a real MVP. You overachiever, you. All
I
right,
just didn't want to
everybody.
miss anything.
So you
Thank you, Kim.
coming to the dean's meeting tomorrow, Dean Jets?
Me? Oh, I'll probably be there.
Yeah. And
Thank
I
you
was
for
also
reminding me.
thinking, Kim, are you going?
Yes, I'll be there. It's in the Writing Center, so I'll be there.
I'll be seeing you guys. Oh, good. I forgot where it was. It's the Writing Center. Good to know. I
Well,
was
there's your refresher. Yeah, it's in the Writing Center. All right, you guys will have a great start to your semester, and I guess I'll see you both tomorrow.
okay.
All right. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good